Ever wondered about the tumultuous histories of African leaders? Delve into a gripping exploration of 20 African presidents who met tragic fates through assassination. Revealing the chilling narratives behind each demise. Brace yourselves for a compelling journey through the corridors of power and the dangerous ways it can unravel. Patrice Lumumba. The newly formed Belgian Congo met a terrible end in 1960, entangling its first prime minister, Patrice Lumumba, in political machinations. Studying Lumumba's assassination, Belgian academic Ludo de Vita uncovers the murky history of Belgium's complicity despite the existence of a UN peacekeeping deployment. De Vita argues for Belgium's substantial responsibility, triggering a parliamentary inquiry. The intricate narrative involves the US, the UN, the Soviet Union, and local players. Amid Congo's chaos, Colonel Mobutu seized power, leading to Lumumba's house arrest, escape, recapture, and transfer to Katanga. The Belgian plan orchestrated Lumumba's execution upon arrival, implicating secret agents and officers. Despite the roles of the US and the UN, the Belgian plot, executed in January 1961, proved fatal. During the Cold War, Lumumba's appeal to the Soviet Union branded him a communist, contributing to his downfall. The tragedy underscores the complex geopolitical forces shaping African leadership. Sylvanus Olympio. Olympio was born in 1902 in Lome, Togoland, now Togo, a passionate nationalist who met the unfortunate fate of being the first to die in the troublesome military coups that swept Africa in the 1960s and 1990, and headed the Togo Unity Committee after World War II, eventually becoming Togo's first president. His leadership journey was fraught with challenges, from conflicts with the French colonial administration to the disappointment of people's unity aspirations. Despite Togo gaining independence in 1960, Olympio's regime faced internal discontent, adopting a one-party state that bred resentment due to authoritarianism and regional disparities. In January 1963, amidst rising opposition and the first successful post-war army coup in sub-Saharan Africa, Olympio was assassinated. His tragic end serves as a poignant example of the tumultuous political landscape and perils faced by African leaders during this era. Ngata Tambalbaya. Known as Ngata Tambalbaya, he served as Chad's first president from 1960 until his ouster in 1975, adding a serious new chapter to African political history. Tambalbaya's dictatorship sparked sectarian strife and had a lasting impact on Chadian politics. Originally a teacher under French colonial rule in the southern region, he joined the Chadian Progressive Party, PPT, in 1946. His rise to power involved leading the PPT, declaring it the sole legal party, and establishing a corrupt dictatorship that favored his southern-based patronage network. Tambalbaya's early life included education in Brazzaville, and his World War II involvement showcased his dedication to free France. Confronting French repression, he won a seat in the Colonial Territorial Assembly and became Chad's head of government in 1959. Tambalbaya's tragic demise encapsulates the turbulent political dynamics faced by African leaders during this period. Marion Ngouabi. The military president of the Republic of the Congo faced a grim fate on March 18, 1977, becoming another victim among African leaders who met their end through assassination. Rising from the commander of the 1st Paratrooper Battalion after a 1968 military coup ousted President Masamba Deba, Ngouabi's political journey took a dark turn. Initially appointing Alfred Raoul as prime minister, Ngouabi later assumed the role himself, consolidating power and purging opposition. Speculation surrounds his assassination, attributing it to his resistance against colluding with French authorities seeking control over the oil-rich Cabinda region in Angola. Refusing to annex the region led to a conspiracy with opposition figures within Congo, culminating in Ngouabi's assassination by an alleged suicide commando. The aftermath witnessed summary trials and executions, including former President Masamba Deba, implicated in the plot against Ngouabi. Marion Ngouabi's demise exemplifies the dangerous paths African leaders navigated during this tumultuous era. Samora Machel. The socialist leader and first president of Mozambique came to a tragic end on October 19, 1986. Adding his name to the list of African presidents brutally assassinated, Machel was born in the village of Madragoa in 1933. And Machel's early life reflected the struggles of a peasant family under the Portuguese regime, encouraged his dedication to ideals. Michel's journey led him from nursing studies in Lourenço Marques to political activism against racial disparities. Evading Portuguese surveillance, he joined Frelimo in Dar es Salaam, becoming a key figure in the struggle for Mozambique's independence. Rising through the ranks, Michel became Frelimo's president in 1970. His presidency, marked by socialist principles, faced challenges, and on October 19, 1986, Michel died in a plane crash near the border with Mozambique and South Africa, raising suspicions of foul play and becoming a symbol of the dangers African leaders face in removing Samora Michel's legacy. Amilcar Cabral. A distinguished figure in Bissau-Guinean and Cape Verdean history recognized as an agricultural engineer, political organizer, and diplomat, met a tragic end in the annals of African leadership. Revered as one of Africa's foremost anti-colonial leaders, Cabral, also known as Abel Jassy, played a pivotal role in the nationalist movements of Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde and the subsequent War of Independence. Assassinated on January 20, 1973, just months before Guinea-Bissau declared independence, Cabral's legacy resonates as a pan-Africanist and intellectual nationalist revolutionary poet, deeply influenced by Marxism. Born in Bafata, Portuguese Guinea in 1924 to Cape Verdean parents, Cabral's early life was marked by struggles, driving his dedication to independence causes. Educated in Lisbon, he founded student movements opposing Portuguese dictatorship, later establishing the PAIGC in 1956, a key player in the fight for independence. Cabral's assassination remains a poignant chapter, highlighting the dangers faced by African leaders pursuing liberation in a tumultuous era. Thomas Sankara. A charismatic and revolutionary leader, Thomas Sankara was sometimes referred to as Africa's Che Guevara. His sad killing on October 15, 1987, terminated his dedicated work for Burkina Faso's progress. Fresh insight was provided by the guilty verdict of 14 defendants, which included former President Blaise Compaoré, and looking for a resolution. Leader of Burkina Faso and Marxist-Leninist revolutionary, Sankara led a republican and widespread revolution as president from 1983 until 1987. His anti-imperialist stance, solidarity with global leaders, and criticism of his opposed new colonialism expressed a commitment to independence and focus. A champion of gender equality, he instituted progressive policies, outlawed forced marriage and FGM, recruited women into the military, and ensured women's participation in government. Burkina Faso's pursuit of justice for his assassination symbolizes the resilience of a people in their quest for transformation. Melchior Ndadaye. In 1993, a politician and banker from Burundi became the country's first Hutu president through a democratic election, leaving a lasting legacy. However, the army, which was dominated by Tutsis, resisted his attempts to heal racial divisions. Just 3 months into his presidency, Melchior Ndadaye fell victim to a failed military coup in October 1993, becoming one of the tragically assassinated African presidents. Born on March 28, 1953, in Nyabihanga, Rwanda-Urundi, Ndadaye's early life was marked by resilience and education. Fleeing in Rwanda after the 1972 Akiza targeting educated Hutus, he returned to Burundi in 1983. Ndadaye's political journey involved founding progressive movements and parties, advocating for democracy amid ideological divisions. Despite his efforts, his presidency was abruptly cut short, triggering a wave of ethnic violence and the Burundi Civil War. Cyprien Ntaryamira, a Hutu native of Burundi, ascended to the presidency, only to meet a tragic end, becoming one of the African presidents assassinated. Born on March 6, 1955, he fled ethnic violence to complete his education in Rwanda. In 1972, he escaped anti-Hutu repression, studying in Zaire and Rwanda. Ntaryamira's political journey included co-founding the Socialist Party and championing development issues. After returning to Burundi in 1983, he faced political compromise but remained politically active, co-founding the Front for Democracy in Burundi in 1986. He was elected president in 1994 and set out to restore peace amid ethnic conflict, unfortunately, on April 6, 1994. In 1994, Rwandan President Juvenal Habyarimana claimed his plane was shot down over Kigali, ending a promising leadership cut short by assassination. Juvenal Habyarimana, delve into the perilous destinies of African presidents through the narrative of Juvenal Habyarimana, who met a tragic demise. Born around March 8, 1937, in Gasiza, Gisenyi Province, Rwanda, Habyarimana seized power in a 1973 coup, dominating Rwanda for over 2 decades. Rising to Major General by 1973, he led a Hutu faction in overthrowing President Gregoire Kayibanda, establishing a civilian military government where he assumed the presidency. Initially suppressing political activities, he formed the National Revolutionary Movement for Development in 1975, creating a single-party state. Despite nominal civilian rule in 1978, Habyarimana's influence persisted through uncontested elections. Until 1990, violence against the Tutsi minority remained relatively low. However, a Tutsi-led rebellion in 1990 heightened ethnic tensions. Despite a power-sharing agreement in 1993, opposition from Hutu extremists intensified. Habyarimana's story exemplifies the treacherous paths African leaders tread, facing tumultuous ends. João Bernardo Nino Vieira. Explore the tumultuous life and tragic demise of a Bissau-Guinean politician who served as president of Guinea-Bissau from 1980 to 1999 and again from 2005 until his assassination in 2009. Seizing power in a 1980 military coup, he ruled through the Military Council of the Revolution until 1984, with intermittent civilian rule. Vieira encountered difficulties even after winning multi-party elections in 1994, which ultimately resulted in his removal during the civil conflict that raged from 1998 to 1999. Having assumed control in 2005, he met a brutal end on March 2, 2009, purportedly as payback for a blast that claimed the life of an army officer. Vieira's violent political career in Guinea-Bissau ended when the army assumed control and executed him. The country had previously experienced insurgency, civil upheaval, and ethnic problems. Laurent Désiré Kabila. Delve into the tumultuous life of a Congolese revolutionary and politician, the third president of the Democratic Republic of the Congo from 1997 until his tragic assassination in 2001. A staunch opponent of Mobutu Sese Seko, Kabila led the Alliance of Democratic Forces for the Liberation of Congo during the First Congo War, successfully toppling Mobutu in 1997. However, as president, Kabila became ensnared as a puppet of foreign backers. In 1998, he ordered the departure of foreign troops, triggering the Second Congo War. Amidst the chaos, he fell victim to assassination by one of his bodyguards, succumbing to the treacherous political landscape. His 29-year-old son, Joseph, succeeded him 10 days later. Kabila's legacy intertwines with the intricate dynamics of Congolese politics and external influences, culminating in a perilous end. Modibo Keïta. Explore the life and tragic fate of a Malian politician, the inaugural president of Mali from 1960 to 1968, within the broader context of African leaders confronting perilous ends. Born in Bamako in 1915, Keïta ascended from a teaching career under French colonial rule to become a pivotal political figure. In 1960, following Mali's independence, he assumed the presidency, implementing socialist policies and endorsing the US RDA as the sole official party. Despite supporting the non-aligned movement, maintaining Western relations, and contributing to Pan-Africanist efforts, Keïta encountered discontent over economic decline and repressive measures against dissent. His presidency abruptly concluded in the 1968 Malian coup d'etat led by Moussa Traoré. Overthrown, imprisoned, and grappling with dissatisfaction, Keïta passed away in 1977, joining the roster of African leaders who met perilous fates. Ibrahim Bare Menassara. A military officer adds to the roster of African presidents facing perilous fates. Born on May 9, 1949 in Maradi, Niger, he took control in a 1996 coup. Suspending the constitution, Menassara governed until his assassination on April 9, 1999. As Niger's president, he encountered dissent due to his authoritarian rule and controversial policies. Menassara's leadership met a tragic end during an attempted counter-coup. The perilous fates of African leaders like Menassara reveal the intricate and volatile political landscapes they navigated. This involves grappling with internal opposition, power struggles, and the constant threat of coups or counter-coups, underscoring the precarious nature of leadership in certain African nations. Mohamed Boudiaf. The chairman of the High Council of Algeria became another tragic figure among African presidents facing perilous fates. On June 29, 1992, while addressing a public meeting in Annaba, he was assassinated by his own bodyguard, Lambarek Boumarafi, officially presented as an Islamic fundamentalist sympathetic to the Islamic Salvation Front, FIS. Boudiaf, in office for only 5 months, aimed to counter the FIS, halt the civil war, and restore order following the 1991 elections. His assassination involved grenade explosions and a gunman dressed in the elite police intervention unit uniform, firing into Boudiaf's back. This dramatic event coincided with Algeria's state-owned oil company seeking foreign participation, causing oil price fluctuations. The international response varied, with fundamentalist Muslim governments praising the act, while Western nations condemned it. Boudiaf's death marked a significant political killing in the Arab world since Anwar Sadat's assassination in 1981. Muammar al-Gaddafi. The de facto leader of Libya from 1969 to 2011 emerged as another tragic figure among African presidents who met perilous fates. Born near Sirte, Libya, in 1942, he seized power through a military coup in 1969, toppling King Idris I. Gaddafi's over 4-decade rule featured policies such as removing foreign military bases, nationalizing petroleum assets, and enforcing Islamic principles like banning alcohol and gambling. His opposition to negotiations with Israel and involvement in regional conflicts marked his tenure. Despite espousing a form of Islamic socialism, his government retained authoritarian control. In 2011, facing a revolt, Gaddafi evaded capture until October when rebel forces killed him. Gaddafi's complex legacy intertwines military adventurism, socialist policies, and a controversial leadership style, reflecting the perilous nature of political power in Africa. Muhammad Anwar el-Sadat. The third president of Egypt emerged as another African leader who faced a perilous fate through assassination. Born on December 25, 1918, Sadat played a pivotal role in the Egyptian Revolution of 1952, alongside Gamal Abdel Nasser. Serving as vice president under Nasser, he succeeded him as president in 1970. Sadat's 11-year presidency marked a departure from Nasserism, embracing a multi-party system and implementing the Infatah economic policy. His leadership included the Yom Kippur War of 1973, regaining Sinai Peninsula from Israel, and the historic Egypt-Israel Peace Treaty in 1978, for which he received the Nobel Peace Prize. However, his pursuit of a separate peace with Israel led to opposition, culminating in his assassination on October 6, 1981, during a Cairo parade by militants opposed to his diplomatic efforts. Sadat's complex legacy underscores the challenges and dangers faced by African leaders navigating geopolitical complexities. William Richard Tolbert Jr., Liberia's 20th president, met a tragic end as part of African leaders facing perilous fates. Born on May 13, 1913, Tolbert, an Americo-Liberian, served in various capacities before assuming the presidency in 1971. His early tenure included liberal reforms and a non-alignment stance, but economic challenges and tensions between Americo-Liberians and indigenous Liberians led to instability. Tolbert's presidency abruptly ended with his assassination during the 1980 coup d'etat by the People's Redemption Council, led by Samuel Doe, marking the conclusion of 133 years of Americo-Liberian rule. Tolbert's family history, rooted in Americo-Liberian and African-American descent, underscores the complex societal dynamics prevalent during his leadership. The tragic demise of Tolbert reflects the dangerous landscape some African leaders navigated, facing political, ethnic, and economic challenges. Idi Amin. The Ugandan military officer and politician served as the third president of Uganda from 1971 to 1979, experiencing exile rather than assassination after being ousted from power. Amin's rule was characterized by rampant human rights abuses, political repression, ethnic persecution, and economic mismanagement. He shifted alliances during his presidency, initially enjoying support from the West, particularly Israel. His aggressive foreign policies, such as the expulsion of Asians in 1972, strained international relations. Amin's tenure concluded when Tanzanian forces invaded Uganda in 1979, removing him from power. He lived in exile in Libya, Iraq, and Saudi Arabia until his death on August 16, 2003. Omar al-Bashir. The Sudanese former military officer and politician served as Sudan's head of state from 1989 until 2019 when he was deposed in a coup. In contrast to the theme, African presidents who were assassinated in the most dangerous ways, al-Bashir was not assassinated. Instead, he faced significant controversies during his presidency, including being indicted by the International Criminal Court, ICC, for alleged mass killings, rape, and pillage against civilians in Darfur. In 2019, large-scale protests demanded his removal, leading to his ousting in a military coup. Subsequently, al-Bashir faced a corruption trial, receiving a 2-year prison sentence. The Forces of Freedom and Change Alliance, overseeing Sudan's transition to democracy, stated that al-Bashir would eventually be transferred to the ICC. Born in 1944, al-Bashir belongs to the Banu Badaria tribe and has 2 wives, Fatima Khalid and Widad Babakar Omer, without having children of his own. In the shadows of history, the narratives of African presidents assassinated in treacherous ways unveil the tumultuous political landscape. Remember, their tragic fates serve as reminders of the perils leaders faced. Subscribe for more insights into historical events that shaped our world.